What's going on, everyone? Welcome back to the channel and welcome to another Dynasty Warriors Origins video where we're going to be talking about the hardest things to achieve in Dynasty Warriors Origins. Now the game's been out for a little bit now and hopefully you guys are all enjoying it and hopefully not struggling the way I struggle with some of these things. But when I made this video, the game was not out, there was no guide, so these are the top 10 hardest things to do without any help from the internet, from the outside. I mean, I had to figure out everything on my own. Hope you guys enjoy the video. If you do, definitely appreciate you guys dropping a like or a sub before you go. And with that being said, let's go ahead and jump into my list. Now, starting down at number 10, I would say like the first 4 or 5 were ones I had to like think really hard about. Top 5 is where it gets kind of meaty for this list. And in hindsight, some of these things might be easy to do now. But starting out at number 10 for me, I had obtaining Panacea and other seemingly limited items like the Muso bonds and stuff as my number 10 hardest things to do, because some of those items really came in handy. The Panacea, the big, and the Muso bonds are really interesting items that you find when you complete something big or you do something specific. You know, you get 4 or 5 for your playthrough, and that's pretty much it. Again, kind of a throwaway. I had to throw something in here. I couldn't think of anything for this really bottom spot, and you know, I had to fill up the list, so that's gonna be number 10 for me. All right, coming in at number 9. So I guess originally I would have had this higher, but because I played so much of the game, easier for me to get used to this. But at number 9, it would have been higher, but because I'm used to it now, is getting used to the new voices. I'm sure you guys are experiencing the same thing as well. You're first hearing, you know, Shunyo or Chengpu and, you know, Guojia and Zhenglia. They have these certain voices that we're not necessarily used to yet.
The other day, I told Lord Liu Bei about Zhuge Liang and Pang Tong.
Well, perhaps it looked that way to an observer. Me just standing here like this.
And it takes a few playthroughs for you to be acclimated to that. Versus Dynasty Warriors 9 when it was genuinely pretty bad, right? I'm not saying every voice acting moment in Dynasty Warriors Origins was perfect or great, but it was a hell of a lot better. And after a certain amount of playthrough, a certain amount of time on the game, you get used to the voices. You definitely get used to the voices, and everyone seems to relatively fit for their voices. Next up, coming in at number 8, this is something I haven't done yet. I could do it. I mean, I could farm it and do it, but I just haven't because I don't know what the incentive to do that is. So coming in at number 8 for me is maxing out the gems, all 5 of them, along with maxing out the rank 7 weapons that you get through your playthrough. I would say maxing out the gems in Dynasty Warriors Origins is one of those tedious tasks to do. It's not difficult, it's just tedious, which makes it difficult because of the time it would take to do that. And the same thing with the weapons. I don't really see the point of maxing out your weapons besides getting the achievement and I guess having a decent weapon to play through. But honestly, I maxed out pretty much everything with my playthrough, and my weapons I don't think are anywhere close to max. I think maybe plus 50 on the weapons is when they get maxed out. I think I have a couple of them over plus 30, but I don't see really any big incentive to max them out besides for the achievement and then maybe for, you know, future DLC stuff if they do like a harder difficulty or harder levels. But other than that, there's no real current incentive for doing either one of these things, but they're still pretty difficult because they're both very tedious. Now, coming in at number 7, this is something that I experienced early on in both of my playthroughs. When I first ran through it, and I'm sure you guys are experiencing as well, fighting large forces by yourself on Ultimate Warrior difficulty, especially by yourself. Unfortunately, for some of the challenges that you guys are going to go through in Ultimate Warrior, you have to fight large forces on your own. There is no option. You don't have enough time, or you have to do, you know, there's a time limit usually that causes you to go after a large force on your own. And if you're not maxed out, it's going to be quite tough. If you're towards a level 70, even like level 80, 85-ish, I would say it's not as easy as being level 100 maxed out. You're just a little bit more susceptible to damage at that level. So yeah, attacking large forces when you were 1, you know, you gotta get used to the new difficulty, and then 2, just a giant conglomerate group of people, it's tough to do by yourself. And that's why I have it here at number 7 for me. Now coming in at number 6 for me, and I'm only isolating this one by itself because it's the only one that's consistent. Every other instance of this similar problem or similar thing is not consistent. So number 6 coming in for me is accepting the pronunciation of Louis Boo. Now when I first played through and I heard it, I was like, okay, maybe they just overemphasized it to try and make it sound good. So the way that Lu Bu's name is supposed to be quote unquote pronounced, and I'm not an expert or anything, so it's not Louis, it's Louis. It's like this L and W sound put together. And I think, again, trying to go for that perfect pronunciation They got every single character, no matter who it is. It could be the Shu, it could be, you know, Liu Bei in them, or Cao Cao in them. I don't think Sun Jian or any of them really mention him, but they all say Louis Bu. Dong Zhuo says Louis Bu. Even Dong Zhuo, there's people that say Dong Zhuo, there's people that say Dong Zhuo. Wu and U. There are some pronunciation issues which I talk about in another video, but one of the hardest things in Origins, and I'm just isolating it by itself, is accepting the fact that the most iconic character from this game is Louis Bu. That is a hard pill to swallow, and that's why for me it's here at number 6 for one of the hardest things to do, or yes, accept in Dynasty Warriors Origins. Alright, so I'm coming at number 5 for me. So this is one of those numbers that is a hindsight thing, and I figured it out before recording this video. I figured out how to do it. For me personally, one of the hardest things to do in Dynasty Warriors Origins, you know, one of the achievements is to complete all the training. The hardest training to complete, because it took me forever to figure it out, is getting the final blow using the twin pikes for its training. I did not understand it. I was like, I'm smashing X repeatedly. What is the problem here? Until I played it so much that, you know, you notice different properties with the weapon. Twin pikes have this little ball of energy before it finishes. And there's a moment there when that ball comes up. Is that the final blow training that they're talking about? Because when I first did it, and I try to do it over and over again, I'm just smashing Y. I'm watching how they're doing, right? And I'm like, yeah, he's just smashing Y. Okay, do I hit him up in the air a certain way? Am I supposed to, like, kill him? And no, the only thing you're supposed to do for the training is when that ball pops out, you're supposed to time it in a way. So you wait like a second or two after smashing Y or the strong attack button, and then you time it as soon as your character comes down, and there should be a wave of energy that comes out. That means you have successfully done the final blow for the twin pikes utility, piggybacking off of the strong attack. That's what it relies on. So figuring out the final blow for the twin axe training took forever to figure out. I figured it out, but it's still going to be number 5 for me. Maybe it's just me. It took me some time to figure out how to do it correctly. Next up, coming in at number 4. All right, this one took a long time to figure out. I was at 99% completion of the story for a long time because there was 3 cutscenes that I was missing. And these 3 cutscenes are, 1, the true ending, quote-unquote true ending, for all of the story. And the way you get the true ending, for those who don't know, is you have to play from a specific restart point, and it has the little branch thing. So when you go back and you click like play from chapter 5, there's gonna be 2 options. There's one with the little triangle symbol, the little golden triangle symbol. That's the normal route. And then you have the branching off, the branch symbol, the wishbone looking symbol. If you play from the wishbone symbol, and then you will get the final cutscene at the end. The other one I had a hard time with was what is it? I don't know the name of the actual cutscene, but it's right under chapter 5, right underneath Discord, and right above heading south. I forgot the name of it. It has to do with Guo Jia. If you keep both Dian Wei and Guo Jia alive, you will be on the right path, the hypothetical side. But on the left side, there is something that is only unique to the left side, and I thought the left side was just playing it through. That's the normal path. But there's one cutscene right in the middle of their story that was always skipped over. And the way you get that, and it took me a while because I had to do trial and error, is to have Dian Wei die. You let Guo Jia live, and that's how you get that cutscene. Because the cutscene is Guo Jia's. He talks about how he's pulling back from being on the field of battle, which makes sense. But they have to justify why, if he's alive, why he's not at the Battle of Chibi. This hypothetical situation, if Guo Jia is alive but Dian Wei is dead, Guo Jia will decide not to help Wei anymore. Right? Which doesn't make a lot of sense, but that was the cutscene that was missing. That's why that cutscene was so difficult to find, because you had to meet specific requirements in order to get it. Next up, coming in at number 3, I can make a separate video on this. I don't think it's necessary, because once I've gotten these 3 done, everybody else was kind of straightforward. But coming in number 3 for me, this was very difficult for me to do by myself. No help, no guides, no nothing. It's all just trial and error, starting over from start points, looking around the map, you know, you really have to be vigilant. So for me, coming in number 3 is maxing out the bonds between Diao Chan, Zheng Jiao, and Yuan Shao, in that order. Diao Chan was the last character that I maxed the bond out with, because I just could not find her after chapter 2. I did not know, if you guys don't know, she appears at the beginning of chapter 3 at the top where the village is. Same thing with Zheng Jiao. Zheng Jiao, after he dies, he appears again where Diao Chan is, in that village, but he's dead. And also the tricky thing about Zheng Jiao's, which I talk about in my playthrough if you haven't seen it yet, is that you definitely can't get Zheng Jiao's on your first run through, because on a fresh new playthrough, I think in chapter 3, chapter 2 or 3, the beginning of one of those is when you get introduced into the Shuijing retreat. You have the bonds, right? You'll see them come in, like Han Dong appears early, I think some Xiao Yuan appears early, but you haven't been officially quote unquote introduced to the bond system until, I think it's Sima Hui. When he opens up his retreat, that is when you're quote-unquote introduced into the bond system. So you have to have that happen first before you can max your bond with Zhang Jiao, because you have to be acquainted with him. And then with Yuan Shao, I talked about it in another video, I think in a really early video, and it was about how Yuan Shao will send you a letter saying farewell. That farewell letter, when I first saw it, I thought that's just what it was. It was just a farewell letter. It wasn't anything special. That is his last bond significance. So you have to find him after you see that letter. So in that order, those are the last 3 people I had to find. Those are the last 3 people I had to max out. They were very difficult to find. And for me personally, Diao Chan by herself came up here because she took so long to figure out. I was like, where is this woman? Because I thought maybe I was doing something wrong. Was I not doing her training correctly? Was I the request? And then I couldn't find her. I was like, where did she go? I had to search for a while and then found her up at the village. That was long for number 3, but you know, maxing out those bonds took some time. So let's go move on to number 2. All right, coming in number 2 for me again. No guys, no nothing. And in hindsight, I'm sure I've already figured out how to do this. But at the recording of this video, this was very difficult to do because I don't understand what I need to do in order to unlock these things. So number 2 for me is 100%ing the music section in the records. They don't really give you any hints on what you're missing or how to get them, because you'll see like, so I think I have like 88%. So I see certain battle names, but there's not enough empty slots to fill in for all the battles. I would have to go through each stage because, you know, Changban's there, Chibi's there, you know, Guandu there. They all have their OSTs, right? So I would have to figure out which battles am I missing, and then what are the requirements to get the music, because it seems to be not enough to just play the stage. I got, you know, Guandu unlocked, I got Chibi unlocked, but what did I do differently than the ones that are locked still? And then some of the other ones that aren't locked aren't battles, just based on context clue what's around them. So for example, there is I think a winning or determination one for every force. So you have Liu Bei's and I had Cao Cao's. I got both of them. But in the middle there's a blank, and that's probably Sun Jian's force, Sun Ce, one of them, one of the Sun clans. So what did I not do in order to not unlock that? Did I not clear all the maps? Am I supposed to completely sweep out all the officers? So I haven't figured out why certain music was unlocked and others weren't. I figured it would just be the music plays during your battle and you get the music. But at that point, I played every single battle. I've done everything, right? And I played the stages multiple times, looking for multiple things, doing the challenges, doing the duel, ranking all the duels and stuff. But for me, as of the recording of this video, 100% the music without any help was it was very, I still don't understand how to unlock them, right? Somebody's going to figure it out and it'll be much easier to do. But this is a list of things to do when you don't have any guide. Very, very difficult to do and to understand. Moving on to number 1. Should be no surprise here that number 1 is going to consistently terrorize us no matter what kind of Dynasty Warriors game is. That's going to be defeating Lu Bu and getting the red hair. Alright, getting specifically the challenge to get red hair, which is to defeat Lu Bu at Shop P, no heals. No, not even no heals, no items, no nothing. You are completely just mano y mano, and you're just standing there facing him. Obviously, after playing for so long, this got easier. But the first encounter with this dude, hour and a half of trying to get through this. And it took multiple weapon changes. It took, what should I do here? What can I do here? Changing my gems. Trying to use anything I can to give myself a little bit more of an advantage to try and make this thing a little easy. Obviously, it got really easy after I did it over and over again. I got a video where I beat him with all the weapons, so I mean it became easier. But that was trial and error. I know every movement he's gonna do. I got a whole guide on how to beat him now because I know every movement he's going to do and how to block it. So the reigning champion when it comes to challenges is obviously Lu Bu himself. Defeating him on Ultimate Warrior difficulty, the challenge for unlocking red hair, is the hardest thing to do in Dynasty Warriors Origins. I could have done other challenges as well, and there's a separate video I'll make on the top 10 quote-unquote hardest maps. But if I had to pick one challenge, one map, because this whole list can, it's a different video, the one is Lu Bu. Lu Bu, red hair challenge, that is the hardest challenge. I mean, there is no question on that should be number 1 here. Louis Bu, reign supreme in this video once again. Hope you guys enjoyed the video. That's all I have here. If you guys are struggling with Lu Bu at Shop P, just check out the video in the description or in the card up top. I'm sure I put it up there somewhere. I have tips on how to fight him. That's all I have for the video here. Hope you all enjoyed it. Any questions, comments, concerns, anything you have about the game, let me know down below. I know the game pretty well, ins and outs of it. If you guys need help finding something, whatever it may be, just let me know down below. If you guys want to see something specific about Origins, also let me know down below. Got tons of content coming your guys' way, and I hope you guys are enjoying the content. Anyway, guys, I will see you all in the next one. Would appreciate you guys dropping a like or a sub before you go. And yeah, guys, see you there.